Not much is known about the ancient town of Tarquinia itself, but the necropolis, the plural of one necropolis or city of the dead, tell a detailed story of the cult of the dead and the exuberance in life felt by the Etruscans. The colorful tomb paintings of Tarquinia were derived from a narrow palette of locally available materials. Malachite, for example, produced green. Calcium, copper, silicate produced a deep blue. Reddish brown came from the iron-rich earth, and yellow was the dangerous arsenic sulfide. With a date range from the 6th through the 1st centuries BCE, these tomb decorations tell us a great deal about ancient Etruscan life and mysterious rituals in Tarquinia. For example, let's consider one of these rituals, which we can see in something which has been misnamed, but it's called the Tomb of the Augurs. The Tomb of the Augurs shows us what appears to be a strange and bloody funerary ritual, or even maybe a blood sacrifice for the dead. The Etruscans loved the art and religious stories of the Greeks, and even fused, or what we say, syncretized, many of their myths into their own religion. Stories about Erclu or Hercules or Heracles were particularly popular, and in this tomb we may actually have one of Heracles' 12 labors depicted. To atone for his sins, Heracles was sent to perform many tasks, among them capturing the hound of hell, known as Cerberus, the guardian of the underworld. And here we see a sacrificial victim, perhaps a criminal or a captured enemy, enacting Heracles' famous labor. The man is forced to wear a bag over his head as wild black dogs attack him. A strange masked man, labeled a Phirsu and dressed in an old-fashioned full-head mask, entwines the hapless man with rope, thus making his attempt to cope with his situation all the more difficult and unpleasant. The man bleeds profusely from the dogs biting at his legs. This is apparently a funerary game or blood sacrifice, a practice also known to the later Romans. In the same tomb, we meet mourners bidding farewell to the deceased by touching their hair and gesturing goodbye. This tomb dates to what we call the Archaic period. It's the time after the Orientalizing period, and it falls between 600 and 500 BCE, when stylistic advances, strongly fed from Greek centers such as Athens and Corinth, have contributed to the look of the figures. This can be seen well in Tarquinia's Tomb of the Lionesses. The dancing figures, while still stiff and lacking knowledge of weight shift or actual stances or posture, have advanced technically. They have large almond eyes, thick thighs, distinctive hair braids, at least much of the time, and carefully rendered faces now. And it is better to leave today's lecture, then, on a positive note, with dancing and joy, rather than with the dark human sacrifices of the Tomb of the Augurs. And yet, strangely, both extremes seem to have been a part of Etruscan culture.